Alright, good evening everybody. Welcome to the final session for Wipro Elite National Talent Hunt. My name is Aneeq. I'm the co-founder of Edyst and I'll be helping you crack some of the coding questions that were previously asked in Wipro Elite National Talent Hunt. Before I start, let me just get a confirmation from my team that you can hear us and you can see us. So if you can hear us, you can see us, please say hi on the chat. There's a chat on the right hand side. Please say hi on that, say hello. And my team tells me that you can hear us, the audio is clear, the video is clear. If you find that there's any issue, please put it on the chat on the right hand side, and you can also ask any comments over there. Okay, so today is a marathon webinar, and in this marathon webinar I'll try to pick up at least 3 or 4 coding questions and try to do them in front of you, and I'll be doing them in different languages. So I'll be picking up these coding questions, doing them. The speciality is all of these coding questions have been previously asked by either Wipro or by AMCAT, and the reason I'm doing AMCAT is Wipro's Elite National Talent Hunt is being organized by AMCAT. So we'll be looking at some of the previously asked questions from these two things, and we'll be covering all of the topics from maths, arrays, loops, strings, all of that stuff. So we'll be doing all of these things together, and so it's a marathon. Get in a comfortable position because this is going to go a little bit longer, where we're going to do multiple questions. For those of you who are watching later and not in the live session, you can keep skipping ahead to the different question that you want to do. You can check the description for which question starts at which timing if you're watching later and not live. So let me begin by just reminding you of what the pattern is going to be tomorrow. So tomorrow, for all of those who have a slot tomorrow, this is what the pattern is going to be like. That is, you'll have an aptitude test. So I hope everybody's prepared for the aptitude test. You have a written communications test, which is an essay writing test. You'll actually have to write an essay on top of it, and you'll have an online programming test. You'll have 2 programs to write in that online programming test. So these will be 2 coding questions that will be given to you. The 2 coding questions, generally the pattern is you'll have 1 difficult question. So this will be one easy plus 1 difficult question is what you're going to get, right? Generally, this is the pattern that has been followed. Our aim should be that the easy one should get cleared no matter what, and the difficult one we should ideally have at least 50% of the test cases should pass, right? So we should at least aim for 50% of the test cases over here. That's what our aim should be. Both the aptitude and written communication, I hope you've practiced before. If you have not and you want to do last minute preparation, on the Edyst platform there are 250 plus questions of the previously asked Wipro questions. Please go and analyze them. Written communication, the best thing is to go read a lot of the questions that you can. What kind of questions that you can read are: what is your favorite subject, who is your favorite freedom fighter, who is your favorite role model, which computer science concept you like the best, so on and so forth. So just choose one of those. So I'm not going to be covering that into like aptitude test and written communication test. I'm going to be focusing on the online programming test. And over the last few videos, we've had a lot of people asking us different things. They've had a lot of different requests that we should do it in Java, we should do it in C, we should do it in Python. Tomorrow's test, you can do in any one of your language. In fact, you can do the first question in Java, the next question in Python, first question in C, next question in Python, whichever one you want. That's completely up to you. You can do it in whichever fashion you want to do. So what I'll do today, so that everybody is happy, I'll try to do one question in each language. So I'll try to do one question in C, one in Java, one in Python, so that each one of you know how to do it. And do remember that even though I'm doing it in any one of the languages, I will make sure that I am covering it in, I'm covering the logic. So even if, let's say, I cover in Java, I will make sure that the logic is enough for you so that you can do it in C or Python. So I'll try to cover all 3 languages today. It will be a good revision for you in terms of all of these 3 languages. So without much delay, let's get started. And just to remind you again, the place where I will be starting this is on the Edyst platform. And so on the Edyst platform, what you have to do is, I'll just share the link with you. The link is here, bit.ly/edyst_Wipro. You need to go to bit.ly/edyst_Wipro, and you'll find this page. So I will be doing the question on that page. If you go to bit.ly/edyst_Wipro, this is the page that you will see. And on this page, you see over here this try true free modules. Once you click this is the page that will open up for you, where you have 2 free modules. You can pay and get some of the previous year's questions over here, right? I will be using this the coding questions over here. So let's look at the first coding question that we are going to see today, and let me just go into Wipro Elite. Yeah, so let me look at one of the first coding questions that we're going to do today, and that coding question is checking for Armstrong number. So let me just open that up. So this is a maths question, and there are many maths questions to do, but I'll pick up this one, which is called checking the Armstrong number. That's what I'm going to do. So let's just go back to the slides and understand what an Armstrong number is. An Armstrong number is typically, this is the kind of question you will be asked as your first question. This will be like the number one question you might be asked because it's an easier type of question. It's a maths question. So an Armstrong number is something like this, where the sum of the powers of the digits is equal to the digits itself. What do I mean by this? We have over here the number 153. How many digits are there? The number of digits is 3. What this question says is, if I do 1 raised to 3, 1 raised to 3 plus 5 raised to 3 plus 3 raised to 3, what I'm going to get is 1 raised to 3 is 1 plus 5 raised to 3 is 125 plus 3 raised to 3 is 27. So 125 plus 27 is 152 plus 1 is 153. So I'm going to get 153, which is the same as our input. If the sum of the digits each raised to a power which is equal to the number of the digits is same as the original number itself, then it's called an Armstrong number. So let me repeat that. If you divide this number as single digits and you raise each one of them to the power which is the number of digits, right? So if you raise each one of them to the power which is the number of digits, then you will get a sum. That sum, if it's equal to the original number, is called an Armstrong number. So let's go back to the question again. One second. Yeah, let me go back to the question. So the question said, for example, it had given some example. So let's look at some other examples. One of the examples was 1 to 1. So let's look at 1 to 1 over here. For 1 to 1, if I had check, so I'll get something like this, 1 to 1. Let me break it down. 1 cube plus 2 cube plus 1 cube, right? Which is equal to 1 plus 8 plus 1, which is equal to 10, which is not equal to 121. Hence, this is not an Armstrong number, right? So that's what this question is about. That is breaking that down into digits and then getting the numbers over there. So now, which is an Armstrong number? Well, if you look at it, if we had to check, 1 is an Armstrong number because 1 raised to 1 is 1. 2 is an Armstrong number because again 2 will be raised to how many digits? 1. So 2 raised to 1 is 1. So all of the numbers from 1 to 9 are Armstrong numbers because they all have to be raised to only 1, right? So that is an example of an Armstrong number because 8, how many digits are in 8? Only 1. So 8 raised to 1 is nothing but 8, right? Which is 8. So this is an Armstrong number. So all of these numbers will be Armstrong number. Okay, this is a famous question. I'm sure many of you might have already, seen this and, must have been wondering, why we are covering this. Well, we're doing a complete recap of the entire thing. So that's why we're doing this today, this question. So let's look at the maths of this. Before I go to the code, let's try to understand what the approach we will follow. So let's go back to the question again and see, is it taking input? Yes, it's taking input. So let's write the approach for it. What's the first thing we're going to do? The first thing we're going to do is take input the number, right? So that's the first thing we'll start with. We'll first start with taking input the number. Then we need to find the number of digits of that number. So this is the first task that we have to do. Find the number of digits of that number. And in that finding that, after we find the digits of that number, for each digit, raise it to the power that we needed, add it to sum, right? Then compare the sum to the original number. That is what we have to do. So in plain English, what we are supposed to do is first even just actually take input the number. Then we'll find the number of digits in the number. So like if it's 123, the number of digits are 3. If it's 1, 2, 3, 4, the number of digits are 4. Then we divide each number separately. So we take first 1, then we take 2, then we take 3, or we can take 3 first, then 2 first, then 1 first, so on. We take each one of these numbers, raise it to the power, which power? The number of digits, and add it to sum. And then we'll compare the sum to the original number. So that's what we're going to do. If the sum is equal to the original number, then it is the same, it is an Armstrong number, otherwise it's not an Armstrong number. So let me actually take this entire approach, right, and put it in our code, right? So let's take that approach, put it in our code, and the first language I'll choose is Java. So let me just choose Java over here to show you how you can do this entire thing in Java. And now I'm going to the code editor. Now that we have our approach, I'll go to the code editor and actually start writing the code. So the code is, we'll write the code over here. First things first is we need to take input the number, find number of digits in that number. Then for each digit, we raise it to the power, add it to the sum, and compare the sum to the original number. So let's do each step one by one. To even take input a number in Java, you need to import scanner class. So we import the scanner class. We write the main class over here. Okay, so let's write the main class, and we'll write the method. So in Java, this is the starting code. Like in C, you have your int main return 0 hash include stdio. This is what is there in Java. So always by heart these things and always remember them. So you have this public static void main string args. Okay. All right. So we have this. Might as well keep this public class main. All right. So what the first thing we're supposed to do, we're supposed to take input the number. Let's define a scanner. Scan is equal to new scanner system.in. So this is how we take input. Int n is equal to scan.nextInt. So this is our original number. N is our original number, right? Let's just see if you've got the input properly. This is what I like to do. Once I have written this much, I actually like to just check if I've got the input properly or not. Let's just print out, and this is how we'll print out n, system.out.println n. That's the syntax for printing in Java. Let's just run and see whether we've actually got the number or not. So the input is 153, output is Armstrong number, but our output is 153 because we are just printing out the number. So at least we took the input properly, right? So that's one way of testing. If you are not sure whether you took the input properly or not, just print it and see. Find the number of digits of that number, right? Okay, so now we have to write the code for finding number of digits, right? So the way we can do that is, let's take int temp is equal to n, because we want to store n. N is our original number. We don't want to remove n. So let's do int temp is equal to n, and let's keep dividing temp by 10 till we reach 0. What do I mean by this? Let's say the number is 153, right? When we divide 153 by 0, when we divide 153 by 0, what we're going to get is, by 10, we are going to get 15. Then when we divide 153, this is an integer division, so there won't be any decimals. Then when we define when we divide 15 by 10, we'll get 1, and then when we divide 1 by 10, we'll get 0, right? So, and how many times did we do this division? We did this 3 times. So till such time that we reach 0, let's keep dividing by 10, and let's keep a count on how many times we divided by 10, right? So while temp greater than 0, right? Temp is equal to temp by 10, and let's keep a number of digits. One second, int num digits, that's here, is equal to 0. Then then we have over here num underscore digits plus plus. We'll increase the number of digits that we have found so far. Let's again print out the number of digits to see if we've got the correct answer here. Again, I like doing this to know that our steps are correct, that we are not making a mistake in the steps somewhere. So yeah, so the number of digits is 3. We got that it is 3. Okay, great. Alright, so now we got the number of digits. What's the next step? So this is done. We took input the number, find the number of digits of that number. This is done. Now for each digit, raise it to the power. That is the power that we need. Okay, alright. Let's again assign temp is equal to n. We will play around with temp, right? Let's do this, right? While temp greater than 0, what we're going to do is, we'll again generate the sequence that we generated here. So for example, if we do temp is equal to temp by 10, what's going to happen first is, we are going to have 15, then we are going to have 10, we are going to have 15, then we are going to have 1, and then we are going to have 0, right? What we need is, we need 1, 5 and 3. We need these numbers separately. So the way to get the last number, what is it, int, okay, sorry, current, sorry, int, last digit. So the way to get the last digit of temp is temp mod 10. So for example, if it's 153, we are going to get 3 over here, right? Then what we're going to do is, let's take temp is equal to temp by 10. So when temp equal to temp by 10, this will become 15. 15 is still greater than 0, it will go here. Now 15 will give us 5. Then again it will go down, this will become 1. When 1 goes, 1 is still greater than 0. So we will get 1 over here, which is nothing but, which will again give us 1, because 1 mod 10 will be 1. Then this will become 0, at which point we don't even repeat the loop again. So we got the last digit like this, right? And again, to be sure that we got the last digit, what's the best thing to do? Print it, right? So let's print it out. So let's print the last digit. So this part was finding number of digits, and this part is separating each digit, raising to power, getting sum. So these are the three things we'll do. Let's start with separating each digits. So let's print out the last digits. Let's see if we are getting it right. Okay, yes it is. We got 3, we got 5, we got 1. So now what we need to do is, we need to raise 3, this is the last digit, right? We need to raise 3. So let us define another int sum, which will store the sum, right? We need to raise 3 to 3, or rather the number of digits. So each of the last digits we have to raise, basically we have to get the power, right? So let's take some int power, and we need to store in power, we have to store last digit raised to number of digits. Obviously this is not correct syntax, it's just English, but we have to get the last digit raised to number of digits. That's what we have to do. So the best way, I mean, you can use a power function and all of that in Java if you want to do. I'll just write a simple for loop to find this out. So the way we'll do it is this. Int, we'll first define int power is equal to 1. Then we'll run a for loop for int I equal to 1, I less than equal to power I plus plus, and we are going to do power is equal to power into last digit, right? The only thing is, this is not I less than equal to power, it is num underscore digits, right? Because we want to, in this power, store last digit raised to num digit. So we will keep looping it. So basically what will happen is, let's say I have 3, it will first take 3 into 1, then it will take 3 into 3, which is 9, then it will take 9 into 3, 9 into 3, which is 27, which is what we need. It will give us 3 cube. Similarly with 5, it will give us 125. And again, the best thing to do is to actually print the sum, print it. So let's print power every time and see whether we're getting our answer or not. This is a for loop to calculate the power, right? So calculating power here. Okay, let us print it out and see whether it works. Okay, last digit. So again, whenever you get an error, don't be scared. Like here it actually tells us where the problem is. It says cannot find symbol last digit. The reason for that is because we didn't give the spelling correctly. So it's last digit, not digit. Okay, so let's run it. And yeah, so it gave us 27, 125, 1, which is nothing but 3 cube plus 5 cube plus 1 cube. So 27, 125, 1. Now we just need to add this in the sum. So if we have to add it in the sum, what we need to do, sum is equal to sum plus power, right? So we got the sum. Add to the sum. Okay. And at the end of it, let's print the sum and see what we get. System.out.println sum. Okay. Okay, so the input was 153 and our sum is also 153. So right now all we need to do, let's just go back, recap what we have done. Those of you who joined just now, I am doing the code for Armstrong number. In the Armstrong number, what happens is like a number like 153. So let me just go back to the slide and tell you. If you have a number like 153, the 153 is equal to 1 cube plus 5 cube plus 3 cube, which is basically if you divide the number 153 into its digits, raise each one of the digits to the number of digits in the number. In 153, we have 3 digits. So we do 1 cube plus 5 cube plus 3 cube. If you do that, the sum of the cubes of the digits, or rather the sum of the digits raised to the power of the number of digits. It's a little confusing, don't worry. But basically, each number is raised to the amount of times, each digit is raised to the number of digits. When you sum all of them, then that sum should be equal to the original number. So that's what we were doing. We were calculating that sum. And now we just have to check whether the sum that we are getting is equal to the original number or not, right? So let's just go back. What we have here is, this was the process we thought we'll take input, done, find the number of digits of that number, done. For each digit, raise it to the power, we did this, add it to the sum, this is also done. Compare sum to the original number, that's all that is left. So let's compare it. If sum equal to n, then what do? System.out.println, we have to print, what do we have to print? Armstrong number. Okay, so let's print that. If it's the same thing, then we have to print Armstrong number, right? Else print not Armstrong number, right? So that's what we have to do. Okay, and let me run it now and see. Okay, it still shows a wrong answer. Let's see what's the reason. Do you see the spelling of S? So I purposely did this to show you that, even a small capital and small s can completely change your answer. It can give you a wrong answer. So we are supposed to print S with a capital S, not with a small s. Let me print with capital S. So you see, all of our logic is correct, everything. If this was your exam in, let's say, university, you would get step marks at least for this. But over here, we don't even get that much, because either your question has to be completely correct with the output, or you will not get the answer. So let me run this right now and see. Now it passes all the test cases. Let us submit and check whether it passes all the test cases or not. And yes, it does. It passed all of the test cases. So this was a simple maths question. And just to recap, in this maths question, what we did was we saw 2-3 important concepts. The first concept we saw is how to input the number in Java. We also saw how to find the digits of each number. So like break the number down into digits. And then for each digit, we are raising it to a certain power, adding the sum, and then compare the sum to the original number. So there are 3 concepts we saw over here: summing up the digits, raising the digits to a power, and also separating the digits. Each one of these can be a separate question. That's why I purposely chose this question, to revise all of these concepts with you, right? So that's for the Armstrong number. If you have any doubts regarding the Armstrong number, or any of the ways we did it, please put it up on the chat, and we'll be more than happy to help you at the end of this session. We have lots more questions to go. This is a marathon webinar. We're going to be doing many more questions. So but if you have any doubts or questions, just put it on the chat, and also leave a comment, and we'll be happy to help you over there. Okay, let's look at another topic for the Wipro Elite National Talent Hunt, something they like to ask a lot, which is a patterns based question. So this question is called a palindrome triangle. And what is meant by palindrome triangle here, we're given a certain input, and for that input we are supposed to give this output. It's a patterns question. Patterns questions are very famous, and I will expect that tomorrow the first question that you get is either a pattern question or it's a maths based question. That's my hunch, although I don't know for sure. Obviously I am also guessing here, but if I had to guess, it would either be a maths question or a pattern based question. So in this question, what we're given is input, that's 5, and the output here is, the first row is 1, second row is 1, 2, 1, third row is 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, and so on. So if the input was 3, this would be the output, right? So how do we go about doing these loops and patterns questions? Now, those of you who have been following these webinars for a long time, you will know that there are 3 questions you should ask whenever you're trying to do a loops and patterns question, right? The first question you should ask is how many rows? How many rows, right? So Over here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 when the input is 5. We have 5 rows when the input is 5. If the input is, let's say, some n, right? So then we have n rows as the output. So that's the first thing. Second, how many columns do we have? Now this is the interesting part. This answer, how many columns, is not always very straightforward. For example, over here we have 1 column, then we have 3 columns, then we have 5 columns, 7 columns, and 9 columns, right? So there are odd numbers of columns every time. That's one thing. But how do we go about doing that? Like we can think of it like that, or you can also, for any of these kind of questions, the way I like to think of it is, in the first one we just print 1, we are fine with that. Second one we print up until 2, that is the row number. So that is in row number 1 we printed 1, row number 2 we printed till 2, then we print backwards from 2, which is just 1. In row number 3 we print all the numbers up till 3, then we print backwards from 3 excluding 3. In row number 4 we print up until 4, and then we print all of the numbers excluding 4 backwards. So the reverse part, 5, print the numbers till 5, easy to do, and then all of the numbers backwards from 4 up until 1. If we follow this logic, it becomes pretty straightforward. And what is the approach? So again, first is take input the number n. So we first take that input the number, then we have to run a loop for the number of rows. So we have to run a loop for the number of rows. So that is, for each row we are going to run a loop. In each row, first print 1 all the way up till n, right? Then print n minus 1 all the way up to 1. That's what you should do. So print 1 up until n, and sorry, not n, this is the row number, this would be I, right? So run a loop for the number of I, because n is the input number n. So 1 up till I, and then from I minus 1 we should print all the way up till 1 including 1. So that's what we should do. So basically in row number 3, let's say the row number is 3, what we should do is in row number 3, in row number 1 it's 1, 1, 2, 1. Row number 3, what we should do is print all the way up to 3, 1, 2, 3. So that is 1 to I over here. Then I minus 1 to 1. So that is I minus 1 is 2, and then 1. That's what we should be doing. Print up till I, and then from I minus 1 till 1 is what we want to print. Once we printed that, print a new line after we printed all of these things. So that's the simple approach for this pattern based question. For other pattern based questions, you can actually refer to you can actually refer to the playlist of the Wipro Elite National Talent Hunt. We've done many pattern based questions, not only in this but in TCS NQT as well. So let's actually open it up and code this one question, which is called, let me go to the Edyst platform, pick it up, second. All right, so this is palindrome triangle. Let me see where we can find it. Palindrome triangle is over here. Yep. So let me open up the palindrome triangle question. Okay. So for a given number n, print half palindrome pattern, which is basically this. This is the pattern we're supposed to print, and given the number n. Let me do this one in C. I'll pick up C programming this time, so that all of you who are C programmers can watch it in C. So let me pick this one in C, and let's go ahead and do it. The approach is, let me again copy the approach in our editor so that we don't have to go back and forth. So just taking that approach over here, 1 second, and just commenting it out so that it doesn't interfere with the code. Alright, first I have to take the number n, then run a loop for the number of rows. In each row, first print 1 to I, then print I minus 1 to 1, and then print a new line. Okay, let's do this one by one. Let's write the basic code of C that we are always supposed to write. So that's hash include stdio.h. Sorry, not that. Yeah. Then int main return 0. So this is the basic stuff that we are supposed to write. Take input the number n. So we'll need n. We'll need an I. Will we need anything else? I don't think we'll need anything else. So first take input the number n. Scanf mod d. And n, that's what we need to do. Let's see if we actually got the number. I always like to just confirm, so I'll just print it out. This is the best way to know whether you're following the input format or not. So I'll just print this out and let's see if we got the number. Okay, yeah, we got input 3, output is still 3. That's not the correct output, but we got the input number, so n has been accepted. So we took input the number, that's the first thing we did. Run a loop for the number of rows. So let's do that. For I equal to 1, I less than equal to number of rows, that's n, I plus plus, okay. Less than equal to, not less than, should be less than equal to. So we took the number n, that's done. Run a loop for the number of rows. Again, we did this. In each loop, first print 1 to I. So yeah, we will need another variable. Let's look at j for that, right? So first we need to print all the numbers from 1 till I, right? So for j is equal to 1, j less than equal to I, j plus plus. So we need all of the numbers from 1 till I. And what are we going to print? We are going to print j, because it will have the value of 1 up until I. So we're going to print j with a space, right? So we give a space and we print j. It would be a good thing to, and okay, after this, at the end of each row, we're supposed to print a new line, right? So it would actually just be worth it if we run this code now and see what the output is like, just to see that we are on the right track. Okay, so the half of it is done. See, we printed 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So we printed here 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. The remaining part is printing it in reverse, right? That's what we're supposed to do. So once we are done with this, let's again print another loop. Let's use k this time, although we can use j, but anyways, I'll just use k so that it's not confusing. For k is equal to I minus 1, because we're supposed to print from I minus 1 to 1. K greater than or equal to 1, k minus minus, not k plus plus, because we're going in a decreasing order. What do we print? We print mod d space, sorry for that, k. That's what we do. We'll print that. So we're going to print k, and then after we do that, we print a new line. Let us run that and see if that works. Okay, our test cases have passed. It does work. Just to recap what we did here, we took input the number n, done, ran a loop for the number of rows. In each row, first print I to 1. So this is what we're doing here, printing from I to 1 is what we're doing. And over here, sorry, printing from 1 to I, not I to 1. So we're printing in ascending order over here. And here, printing from I minus 1 to 1. So that is, we're printing in descending order over here, right? And then print a new line. So that's what we did. We ran it, it worked. Let us submit it and try to see whether it works or not. Okay, that was quick. It worked out really quickly. I have not seen these questions beforehand. So, but yeah. So just to show you that if you think about it logically, it's not going to be really difficult for you. You just need to think about it logically. Like, we wrote down the approach first, and then we started writing the code. If you think in this logical manner, then it's going to be really easy for you to break it down into the different code. So try to do that, write it in a logical manner, and then break down each one of them into a different coding part. So I did this question in C. The previous one was done in Java. So this one was in C, this one is in Java. Let's look at the next question. We have a few, I think we'll do 2 more questions today because it's a marathon webinar. I don't want to leave one. Usually I do just one. I'm going to do 2 more. Let's look at the next question. Okay, next question says you have to find the largest palindrome in the array. So this is a strings question. A lot of you were worried about how to do strings questions in C. So I'll try to do this question in C itself so that none of you are worried as such. I'll do this one also in C. And then the Python students, I'll do the next one in Python. So don't worry about that. I'll do the next one in Python. Okay, so this question is called largest palindrome in an array. I think you can guess what it is, but let me open up the question first so that we are all on the same page and we know how to do it. Okay, so what we're supposed to do is we are given a question which is basically we're given an array string. So we're given, an array of strings. So this is an array and each one of the elements in that array is a string, right? We have to check which of these is the largest palindrome. Some of them may not even be palindromes, but if it's the palindrome, we have to check which of them is the largest palindrome, right? So that's what we have to do. So what we're given here is these 4 strings, and we have to check which of them is the largest palindrome, and we're supposed to print them. Now, two quick things over here. What is a palindrome? So number one, what's a palindrome? A palindrome is nothing but a string that when spelled backwards is also the same. A very famous example is, let's say, madam, right? If you write madam reverse, you will still get madam, right? And so each of the alphabets exactly the same. It's the exact same word in reverse, right? Another one could be mom. When you reverse mom, you still get mom. Even dad, reverse dad, you will still get dad, right? So these are examples of palindrome, and that when reversed will give you the same question, so the same string again. For example, here ABA is a palindrome. If you reverse it, you will get that. ABAABA is also a palindrome. So if you reverse that, you get it. The largest palindrome here is, this is one palindrome which has 3 length. This is one palindrome which has about 1, 2, yeah, this is 6 length. So this is a palindrome which has 6 length. So the palindrome, this is the larger palindrome over here, right? So that's ABAABA. That is the larger palindrome that we have. So this is the question that we are supposed to take input. So now let's understand the input first. I hope you have understood the question. Now let's understand the input first. So the input is, first line of input contains the number of elements in the array. This is very common. You might get this format tomorrow, so please pay attention. What you'll get is that sometimes what they do is they give you the input as the first line will be the number of inputs, and then that will be followed by the inputs of that array, right? So here we have 4, and then this is followed by 4 strings. Now if you don't know how to take input, your question, you might know all the logic, but if you don't know how to take input, it will be a problem. For those of you who really don't know what to take input and you have to revise how to take the input, I'd suggest you go to the Edyst platform. The 2 free modules that we offer for Wipro, the first module has entirely free on how you can take input. So please check that out. It's in all 4 languages, in Java, C, C++, Python, all 4 languages. Do check that out about how you can take input in all of these languages. Very important. If you don't know how to take input, you won't be able to clear the logic, even if you know the logic, right? So first we're supposed to take input and then find out. So let's write the approach. What's the approach that we'll probably follow? The approach is this: take input n, which is the number of strings in array, right? Then what we're going to do is take input the array, right? So that's what we are going to do. Yeah, so we'll take the input the array of strings, okay? In fact, we don't even take input the array, and I'm going to actually do this without taking input the entire array, right? So what we'll do is take input each word. That would be better. And then let's do this. Once we take input each word, check if it's palindrome, right? If it's palindrome, check length, okay? So check if it's palindrome. If it's palindrome, check length. And okay, so whenever we have a maximum question, you should actually start like this, all right? Take maximum to be 0, okay? Then what we're going to do is we'll check if the given word is a palindrome or not. If it is a palindrome, we are going to, okay, yeah, so what we're going to do is, if it's a palindrome, check length of the word, and if the length of the word, check length. If, okay, this is it, if greater than maximum, update the maximum, remember the word. That's what we're supposed to do. So we're going to update the maximum and remember the word, and at the end of this, once we have finally got out of this, print the maximum word. That's what we are going to do, right? So we have over here, take input n, number of strings in the array. What we're going to do is take the maximum to be 0, then take input for each word, check if the word is a palindrome or not. If it is, then check its length. Otherwise, we don't even need to check, right? So if it is a palindrome, check its length. If it then after you check the length, if it's greater than a maximum, update the maximum and then remember the word, right? So that's what we will do. All right. So let's get started and let's see how we can do this in C. Yeah. So let's just pick up C programming and let's see how we can do this in C. And I promise the next question I'll do in Python. So, we can have a coverage of all of the languages. So just going to the coding editor for this question. Alright, so we are on the coding editor over here, and this is the approach that we've written. So take the maximum to be 0, take input n, then take input each word, then check if it's a palindrome, then we'll check the length. If it's greater than maximum, update the maximum, remember the word. Finally, we'll print the maximum word. Alright, let's get started. So let's do hash include stdio.h int main return 0, right? So this is the basic part. What I'll do is, even before we take input, let me define a function called isPalindrome, so that we don't have to write it in the main function. I'll define a function called isPalindrome, which takes an array. Okay, I don't want to confuse you with that part, so let me not do that. Okay, let's write it here itself. So we have over here, we'll take a array of word. Okay, we'll take first the input n. So taking input n, which is the number of strings in the array, right? So that's the first thing we'll do. So scanf mod d and n, right? So that's what we did. That's the first number. That's the first thing we did. So number of strings in the array, done. Take maximum to be 0. Okay, not a problem. Int max is equal to 0. That's easy. We did that. Okay, take input each word. How many words will we have? We'll have n words. So we can do it like this. While n, okay, and at the end we'll do n minus minus. So the moment n reaches, or rather n greater than 0, right? So the moment n reaches 0, this will stop executing. So this is one way of going through all of the test cases. So again, let's just write it here. Take input number of test cases, take maximum, okay, and then over here we have looping for test cases. Okay, now let's take our word. So let's assume that each word is maximum 100 length. The question hasn't specified, so let's just assume it is. Probably it might be more. That time we'll update it. Let's scan the word. Scanf mod s word, right? And if you've been following, so taking input word, and let's just actually print the words just to see whether we are actually getting the input correctly or not. I like to do this generally because, you know, we are always not sure of how the compiler is taking input and all. So let's actually just do this first and see whether we're getting the inputs correctly. Okay, compilation error, print f, right? So that's the mistake I made. It should be print f. Okay, let's run it. All right, yeah, so we have these words, and yeah, it looks like we are taking in all of the words correctly. So we got these words, we are getting all of the words correctly. Okay, brilliant. So now that we got the word, we have to check whether we have to check whether it's a palindrome or not. How do we check palindrome? How do we check palindrome? The easiest thing to do is start from the end, start from the start, and keep checking whether both the alphabets are same or not. If they are, then we know it's a palindrome. Then we keep checking again and again. I'll just bring you back to my slides to tell you what I mean by that. So for example, let's say we have this A, B, B, A. What we'll do is we'll start from A and we'll start here. Check if both these are equal. If they're equal, then it's not. Then we have to check here also, right? They both are equal. Now we can say it's a palindrome. But let's say if we had something like this, A, B, C, D, they are not equal. So there's no point in checking these two. So let's check each and every corresponding alphabet and see whether they are equal or not. If they are, then we keep checking till the end. So for this, in C, what we'll first need to know is where is the last alphabet. And so the last alphabet, to find that out, we need to know the length of the string. So let's first find the length of the string. See, in our logic, we need to first, we said we'll find the length only when we're checking for palindrome. Let's change that logic a bit. We'll first find the length of it, right? That this will actually be part of what we have to do. So find length. That's what we have to do right now. We have to find length, then check if it's palindrome, and then if it's greater than a maximum, update the maximum. So that's what we'll do. We'll start with finding the length of it. All right. And if this question were to be asked, I think this would be asked as a second question. That's why it's taking a little longer. So how do we check palindrome? Before that, we'll just update the logic that we thought. We'll check length before we check for palindrome. So check length over here, right? Okay. So how do we check if it's a palindrome or not? First, let's get the length of the string. And the way we'll get the length of the string is this. Int length, let's say, is equal to 0 right now. What we'll do is for int I equals to 0. In fact, I have it defined? No, right? So int I equal to 0. Word of I not equal to null character, all right? I plus plus. So this is how you go through an entire string in C, right? So this will be I plus plus, and we don't really have to do anything in this loop, but if we do, just do length plus plus, let's say, right? So then we got the length at the end of it. So we found the length of the array. This is how we'll find the length of the array, which is basically speaking length of the word, which is basically I started from the 0th character. I kept going till we got word of I is equal to null, right? So we kept increasing the length. Will this give us the correct one? Only one way to find out. Let's print both the word. Let's print the word and let's print the, right? So that would be word and length. So let's find out if you're getting the correct length or not and see if it's working. And again, I encourage you to do this in tomorrow's test. Keep doing just to check if you're getting it or not. So VQN, it's printing 3, LWH 3, for TH, TNH and P, it's printing 5. Okay, great. So we're getting that. All right. So we're getting the length properly. Great. So far so good. We got the length. Now we have to check if it's a palindrome or not, right? So the way we'll check for palindrome is we'll have to start from the starting as well as the ending part, right? So let's start int I is equal to 0, and we have to go till I less than or equal to, till where do we have to go? If we have like we have to go till length I less than length by 2. Okay, I'll explain this part. I plus plus. Basically speaking, let's say you have A, B, C, D, right? You have to start from A and go up till B, which is over here the length will be 4. So I have to go from 0, 1. I don't have to touch 2. Let's say if I had A, B, A, B, A, B, A, let's say, right? Here my length is 5. That means I have to go only till A, B. Again, 5 by 2 is 2. So I have to go only till that part. And here also A, B, I have to go. I don't really need to check the middle character, because even if it's the same, then even if that's only one character, so I don't need to check that. So now I have to check. Let's keep over here, one second, int palindrome is equal to 0. Let's take it 0. Let's say it's not 0, right? If it's not a palindrome, so if word of I, that is our current character, is equal to word of length minus I minus 1, which is from the reverse. I'm coming from the reverse. Again, just check it out for yourself. When I is equal to 0, right, we want word of 0 and we want word of 3. This is for A, B, C, D. So we want word of 3. So which will be length 4 minus I 0 minus 1. So we want length of 3, correct? So if word of I equal to word of I minus 1, okay, great. So at this time we don't really do anything, or rather what we should do is if actually let's keep this as if it is a palindrome. If word of I is not equal to word of length of I minus 1, then we do palindrome is equal to 0. That is, it's not a palindrome, not a palindrome, right? And we break out, right? Otherwise it will go through this entire thing and it will be a palindrome, right? So that's what we have over here. So in this particular part, do we have any palindromes? We don't really have any palindromes. Okay, great. All right. So let's keep this max to be minus 1, not 0. Okay, great. All right. So okay, so this will calculate, this will tell us if it's a palindrome or not. If it is a palindrome, so if palindrome equal to 1, right? If it is a palindrome, then what do we need to do? We need to store. So max, okay, so if it's a palindrome, if length greater than max, length is equal to max, right? So that's what we have to do over here. If length is equal to max, if length is greater than max, then length is equal to max. And we have to store the word also. So now the word is an array, so we have to again copy that entire thing so into another array. So let's do that. Word underscore copy. So let's copy the entire array, right? So yeah, 1 second. All right, so let's do that over here. Again, it's a long question, especially in C. Anyways, so let me just go that for int k is equal to 0, k less than 100 because we have 100 elements, k plus plus, right? And we get okay, word underscore copy of k is equal to word of k. So we copied the entire thing, so that will be in word copy. Okay, all right. So this was our palindrome part, if it is a palindrome. If it's not a palindrome, then we really don't do anything, right? Okay, now that we have come so far, right, and we've analyzed all of the test cases, what we are supposed to do is word copy contains the longest, what does it contain? The longest palindrome. And length, if here we had, or rather sorry, max contains length of longest palindrome, right? So what we should check is if max is equal to -1, it means we didn't find any palindrome, right? So what do? We just printf -1. Okay. Else, what do? We printf mod s word underscore copy. So we print the copy part, right? Let's just run this and see. We've written a lot of code. Let's see if this even works. Okay. Unknown type word underscore copy contains, okay, all right. Yeah, I forgot to comment this part out. That's my mistake. All right. Let me run this. Compilation error, semicolon. Again, if you're coding for a long time, small things you're going to miss out. So, undeclared first use in this function, word underscore copy, but we seem to have word underscore copy over here. So why is it not taking word underscore copy? Let's again take, okay, word underscore copy k is equal to word underscore copy word underscore k. All right, we seem to have declared word underscore copy, but it's not. Okay, not a problem. What we're going to do is underscore copy underscore 100. What does it say over here? What is the exact line? It says at 52 undeclared each is reported once. Okay, so main C 52 15. So if I'm on 52, okay, and line number 15, so why does it complain over here that word underscore copy is not there? Okay, let me try something like this. Right, probably I think I mostly messed up with a yeah, okay, now I got it. So it is not taking this printf properly. It's not printing it out as it should be printing. Let me just copy this function and print it. Okay, printf word s. Okay, got it. Yeah, let me do that. Right, and let me just print this. Okay, mod C. Alright, this is the thing with strings in C, not always the most straightforward thing. Okay, printf, let's just print \n, and I'll explain what this all is doing just in a bit. Okay, again there's a problem, first use in this function. Where have we actually defined this word underscore or the word? Okay, now I got the issue. We have defined this over here. Okay, alright, so we should have defined this above. Okay, got it. We defined it inside the while loop. That was the issue. This again is then not needed. We just need to, okay guys, got the issue. We were defining it inside the while loop where we should define it in the main function. So let us do this, printf mod s word underscore copy. I think this should work. If not, we'll get more compilation errors. Okay, great. Test cases passed. Brilliant. So yeah, one of the issues with that was we defined it inside the while loop, and we were trying to access it outside the while loop. Okay, let's submit. Let's see if we are missing any test cases. I think we are. Okay, we missed some test cases over here. In the interest of time, I'll mostly be moving forward. But yeah, it does look like we missed a test case. Is it because we didn't put a \n or something? Okay. Oops. All right. Okay, I've spent too much time on this question. I don't want to spend too much time also again on this. Okay, could just be that the size of these are not big enough. Let me just try to take 1000 size and see whether this works. Okay, all right. So we're missing 2 test cases. I'll come back to that. I'll give you the full solution on the Edyst platform. I have one more question to cover. It is a marathon webinar, so I don't want you to miss out on the next question. So I will tell you where we could have probably made a mistake over here. Let me just go through it once and see where we could have made a mistake. This is length. Again, int I equal to 0 palindrome. If equal to 1, length is equal to 1. Okay, all right. I don't see where we could have probably made a mistake. Or probably we have to take what if both of them are equal at that point. Okay, let's try this out. Okay, all right. So I don't want to again spend too much time on this, but what I will make sure is that on the Edyst platform, you will get the solution to this question. But the bottom line is this is how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to take input each word, check the length, check if it's palindrome. If it's greater than the maximum, update the maximum and remember the word. And that's what we're doing over here. We're remembering the word, we're storing it in this copy over here, word underscore copy. That's what we're copying it for. And if the palindrome is 1, that's when we're doing it. So that's the question here. I'm sure that if you spend about another 10 minutes, we'll get the solution. But I want you to see the next question first, and then we'll go into the thing. We've spent already a lot of time on this question. So I'll just come back to this question once we're done with the next question. All right. Okay. So let me do that. Let me go to the next question, and that's our final question for our marathon webinar today. And I promise that the solution for this question will be available on the Edyst platform for you all to see. So don't worry about that. Okay, so let me go to the next question. Let's check the next question. What's the next question? The next question says we have to arrange flowers in a bouquet. All right. Let me open this question up so that we all know what this question is about. 1 second. Okay. So arrays, this question should be in the sorting part. This is a sorting based question. Let me just get that question for you. Okay. All right. Yeah. So this is the question that's given to us. Let's read the question first. Emma wants to gift a bouquet to her father on his birthday and asked for help from her mother Rosie. Rosie gives n flower sticks numbered 1 to n to Emma, tells her to arrange them in the bouquet in a particular order. She asked her to arrange such that the first k flower sticks in the order of their increasing length, the remaining sticks are in order of their decreasing length. Okay, so what we're supposed to do, if I understand it, is, so this is the input we're given. We're told that there will be 10 flowers. We're given a number k, which is 4, which is basically we have these numbers. All of the numbers less than 4 should be organized in an ascending order. All of the numbers greater than 4 have to be organized in a descending order, right? What about the numbers equal to 4? She asked her to arrange the first k flower sticks in order of their increasing lengths and the remaining sticks in order of their decreasing length. Okay, so but what's actually happening here? Alright, so if it's equal, it's not really given to us. K number given by the Rosie sticks. Third is a list of integers. Okay, alright, so it's not really given to us what the k should, if it's equal to k should be. Let's just assume that, okay, but yeah, if it is equal, okay, I got it. So if it's equal, then it has to be in the middle anyways, right? So if you arrange it in the decreasing or increasing, let's go with that and let's see if we change it, then what happens. So again, if the question is ambiguous, if the question is confusing, just go with it. try to find the answer, and then once you find the answer, if it's having issues, then we'll tackle those issues. This question we'll do in Python. So let's just understand how we'll actually do this question. I'll come back to the slides. The question has two interesting parts. Number one is we have to take an array of size 10. So that's the interesting thing over here. How do we take that in Python? So I'll show you how to do that in Python. The second thing that we are supposed to do is we are then, so let's say we got this array, we somehow got this array over here. We took the input number, then we took k over here, this k, this is n. Then we are supposed to sort this in ascending and this in descending. So that is, all of the numbers less than k have to be sorted in ascending order. All of the numbers greater than k have to be sorted in descending order. That's what the question seems to be saying. Okay, how we will do this is we'll take this array, we'll insert into two different arrays. Okay, we'll insert all the numbers lesser than 4 into the first array. So we'll have these numbers like 3, 3, 2, 3, and the numbers greater than 4 will be here. It will be 7, 9, 7, 5, 9, and 7, right? Then we'll sort this. It will be 2, 3, 3, 3, and we'll sort this in descending order. What we'll get is 9, 9, 7, 7, 7, 5. We'll sort this in descending order. So we sorted this in ascending, sorted this in descending, and then we'll print this, and then we'll print this, right? So that's how we'll go about printing it. We'll print it one by one like that. So let's write down the approach that we're going to follow. All right. So the approach, and this one we'll do in Python. Take input size of list. After taking input the size of list, take input k, then add, and then take input the list. Then what we'll do is create new list with all elements less than k, create new list with all elements greater than k, and then sort list 1. Let's call this one list 1. So sort list 1, and then this is 2. So sort list 1 ascending, sort let me just give you a bigger font size, 1 second. Yeah. Sort list 1 ascending, sort list 2 descending, print list 1, list 2. So these are the steps that we're supposed to do. We divided them into the steps, and so let me just bring this up in Python over here so that you can see what we're supposed to do. All right, so I'm open this up on the Edyst platform, and let's see. So approach is take input the size of the list, take input k, take input the list, create new list 1, create new list 2, sort the list. Okay, let's do this one by one. All right, so first things first is we have to take input the size of the list. All the inputs in Python are taken by input, but they're all integers. Sorry, they're all strings. So we have to convert it into integer. So this is how we'll convert it into integer. N is equal to int input. We take k is equal to int input. All right, so we did that. Now the list that we're going to get, so that's the list 1. So let's call it original. All right. If we take this as input, what we're going to get is a string. We'll actually end up getting a string like this. So we'll get a string which has these values. Right. So let me show you how to take input and list in an array, array. All right. So sorry, in Python. So you'll get this list, but we don't want this string. So you'll get a string. We don't want the string. We want something like this. We want 7, 9, 7, 9, 3, 7, 5, and so on. That's what we want. So one of the things you could do is original is equal to input. Let's say you could do split, right? If you do a split, then what you'll get is you'll get a list. So you will get a list, and that list will look something like this. It will be a string 7, string 9, string 5, string 7 again, and so on. So all of the numbers will be in a list. So we don't want that. We want them to an integer. So the way we'll do that is just, you can by heart this as well. We'll map each thing into an integer, and I'll show you what that means. What this basically means is it is going to map each of the input to an integer and then convert that entire thing to a list. That's what it's doing over here. And just to see if we are right, let's just print the original list and see if we get the right output or not. So let's print that out. Alright, so you see we have got the original list over here, all in integers, right? If we didn't do that, if we just did input.split, we would have got strings over here. So what we got is we at least took the input, list, that is the original list, right? Okay, so we took input the original list. Okay, now what you're supposed to do is create a new list one with all the elements less than k. All right, so let's do that. We have list one over here. Let's not use the word list one. Let's call this array one, and let's call this array two. The reason is list is a keyword in Python. We should not be using that. So we have array one and array 2 over here, and again we have to print array 1 and array 2. So guys, this is the last question of the marathon webinar that we're doing today. If you have any doubts or questions, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to help you out. A big shout out to everyone who's been online, who's been watching so far. We see that a lot of students are coming in right now. Do make sure to subscribe to this channel, because even after the Wipro Elite National Talent Hunt, you are still going to get a lot more competitive exams coming up, and we'll do a marathon for each one of them. You'll get the notification only if you subscribe, so please do subscribe to the channel for that. Okay, so coming back to this question, we did these things. So I like putting the things down that we did. So done, take input the original list. So this is also done. Create new arr1 with all elements less than k. Alright, so let's do that. Let's say arr1 is equal to an empty list first, right? All of the elements. So let's go through the numbers here for num in original. So for each number in original, if num less than k, right, arr1 dot append, we'll just append this number to array 1, right? So if number is less than k, we'll append it to this. If number is greater than k, then arr2 dot append number. So that's how we add to a list in Python. So these are the two empty lists we have. So for num in original, if num less than k, array1 dot append. If num less greater than k, array2 dot append. Okay, so far so good. So we created both of our lists. In fact, again, just to confirm, what I would do is I'd actually print both these arrays. So sorry for that. Print array 1, comma, print array 1, and let's print 2. Alright, so let's do that. Let's print both these lists. Okay, all of the ones less than 4 are here, all of the ones greater than 4 are here. Good, so far so good. Alright, so we got those two things. No compilation errors or anything so far. Brilliant. After we have done with these two, we are supposed to sort array 1 in ascending order and sort array 2 in descending order. Okay, this is pretty simple in Python. Let's sort this one in ascending. Array 1 dot sort in ascending is like this, and array 2 dot, if I remember the syntax correctly, it's something like this. Reverse is equal to true. That's the syntax if I remember it. So array 1 dot sort will sort the array 1 in ascending order. Array 2 dot sort will sort it in descending order. And again, just to confirm that, let's print array 1 and then let's print array 2, and let's see if that's actually worked out or not. Alright, yeah, so array 1 is in ascending order here, array 2 is in descending. Now all we need to do is print them in one line like this. So if we just have to print them in one line, let's actually do something like this. We'll do array 3 is equal to array 1 plus array 2, right? And let's print array 3 just to see if, they have, this is a good part about Python. You can just concatenate two arrays like this, two lists like this. So it got concatenated. Now we just need to print each word separately and not as part of a list. So for num in array 3, we will print num and a space after it. right? So that's what we're doing. We'll print num and then we'll print space after it. Let's run this and check. All right, it passes the test cases. Let us submit and then I'll recap this. Okay, oops, we did not pass any of the test cases. What has happened over here? What is it that we are not looking for? I think probably that we are not checking for k. Let me check less than equal to k, whether that helps us out or not. Okay, that still works. Okay, so if that's not the case, then, and then 1 second. All right, let us check this one, whether this works. Again, none of the test cases are passing. All right, this is interesting. I am not sure why we are not passing the test cases. Return a list of integers in this. Have you misunderstood the question? She has asked to arrange the first k flower sticks in arrangement. I think we are doing everything that's asked. Okay, what is it that we are missing over here? Okay, let us see. Array1 dot sort, array2 dot sort in reverse. Array 3 is array 1 plus array 2. Is there some problem here? It doesn't look like it. Didn't match the expected output. All right, I'll again, probably it's a Python issue over here, but I'll again have a look at this. I'll give you all the detailed solution at the end, but I'm pretty sure this is the correct answer. You won't really have any issues with this as such. I'll check the test cases. I'll see why we're not going about it, why this is not printing the correct output. It's always good just to spend a little more time and see why this might not be doing that. Okay, we have the numbers from 1 to n. Have we missed out something? We have over here, okay, 1 second, just trying to think. We could ask an Edyst mentor as well. I think some Edyst mentor should be online. Let me get an Edyst mentor online actually, and let's see what to do. Okay, 1 second, let me get somebody online. Okay, all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually ask an Edyst mentor to come online and help us out with this, because we really need to know what's going on over here. Hello Ravi, need some help. So this is the question, and we have this code. 1 second, please help in solving. Okay, run is working. What test cases am I missing? Okay, so let us see. Let's actually get from the Edyst mentor why we are going wrong. And again, this is the specialty of Edyst. We have a lot of mentors over here who can help you out with this. So okay, sure. So let him take 5 minutes. All right, sure thing. Meanwhile, if any one of you have any suggestions on why, I'll start taking some questions right now and we'll actually solve this question before we leave for the day. So if you have any questions regarding this particular question, let me know. We'll solve this question before we leave. But yeah, if you do have any questions, please let us know at this point, and we'll be more than happy to help you out over here. So for any questions or anything, you can ask on the chat on the right hand side. Okay, so you can ask on chat on the right hand side or on the comments below, and we'll be more than happy to answer over there. So a lot of questions. Okay, all right, so let me just pick up some questions over here. Some of the students are having an exam on 19th, so could you make a video of the questions given on 18th? No, most probably not. That is not the right thing to do. I don't think we can do that. They have very strict guidelines about this. I don't want any one of the students on 18th to be blacklisted. We'll look at the official rules and get back to you whether that is possible to do or not, right? Okay. All right. So the next thing is somebody asked, can we clear NLTH exam without solving two coding questions? It again. So if without solving two coding questions in the National Elite Talent Hunt, without solving two questions, you might still get it. Completely depends on the competition. What I would suggest is if you do two coding questions, then there's a good chance that you will actually be able to clear it. But if you don't do those two coding questions, then it completely depends on competition. At least one is definitely needed. Second one, at least try to get half of them and hope that the competition is not too difficult at that point. Okay, let's see previous one for test case. Yeah, we'll check the previous question also, Harsh. So we'll check the previous question. That's not too difficult. We were passing one test case. So take word.copy with comma. Yeah, that all will do. Okay, anybody else has any questions? Is there any time limit exceeded questions in test cases in Wipro coding questions? So that's what Venkat is asking. Yes, there might be some time limit exceeded questions, Venkat, and that could be part of the reasons why our test cases are failing. So that could be one of the cases you might have to optimize. So in the case where you get time limit exceeded, please, that will most probably be in the second question. It won't be in the first question. That's most probably going to be in the second question that you're going to get. And in that case, what you should probably be doing is optimizing the code better. And optimizing the code, we have covered this previously in some of the previous webinars, so please go check that out. But generally, optimizing the codes means reduce the number of loops that you're using. Don't use too many loops, don't use too many nested loops and things like that, right? So that's what you can do to optimize the code. All right, let me look at some other questions that you might have. Okay. All right, so, all right, just looking at a few questions. Okay, so Ajanya was asking us to explain in C. I did explain two questions in C. I hope you are satisfied by that. One of the questions is in Java and one of the questions will be if I did in Python. So will the questions be straightforward statement questions? So will the questions be like very like story based questions, or are they going to be straightforward questions? So if you see this question, this is a story based question, but the Armstrong number was a very straightforward question. So you'll have like both these kind of things. It happens sometimes. You just have to be used to doing both those kind of questions. So again, reminder to everybody, if you have a question, please post it on the chat. I'll be more than happy to assist you on that. Please post your question on the chat and we'll help you out. And those of you who have other doubts, you can post on the comments as well. All right. Let me look at some other questions that you have. Okay, I think Ravi is going to respond to us with something. Let me just check. Okay. Hey, how do we do with power function is what Harsh was asking. Okay, all right. So he's asking me to explain the logic. Let me look at Ravi. Okay, I am sorting the first half of the, okay, I'm sorry, adding all numbers lesser than k into one array, all numbers greater than k into another array, and then sorting each separately and then combining them and then printing them. So yeah, at Edyst we don't generally give out the questions completely directly, so let's see how he can help us out with this one. All right. Okay, so meanwhile I'll take some other questions. How do we do power function in C or in Java basically? So you could use the built-in function. So okay, so how do you do power function? That's a good question. Let me just bring that up for you so that I'll explain different ones. If you had to do power function, there are 2-3 ways. In Java for power function, and again everybody, I'm just taking, we're still on that question, but I'll come back to that question in a bit. I'm just taking some of the doubts I got on the chat. So for the power function, what we have is, so for the power function, you can, in Java, what you could do is math.pow, but this returns a double, right? So you have to cast it to an integer. So This returns a double type. Python, you can simply use the asterisk asterisk, which is nothing but n into I is equal to n into n raised to I. So that's what we have. You could also in C/C++ you would have to import another library. So I'd just suggest use a for loop, right? So use a for loop for that. So that's what I would suggest for that one, right? All right, so let's go back. Let's see if Ravi has got back to us. Ravi hasn't got back to us yet. All right. Meanwhile, I'll take some other questions. If you have any other questions, let me know. And by the end of the session, we'll solve that question as well. So do let me know if you have any questions over here.
Yes.
Right.
Please share the topics and concepts which Wipro may ask.
All right. So what are some of the concepts and topics to revise just before you go for your Wipro test? So the topics mainly what you should revise for is the questions I covered today. That's loops, maths, arrays, strings. Those are the things. Let me show it to you on the Edyst platform so that you know which ones you're supposed to revise also. 1 second. Let me just pull that up. Right. So just pulling up all of those things. Yeah. These are all of the previous year's questions, topics that we analyzed, over 75 questions, and we got loops and patterns, which we did one question today, maths we did one question today, arrays we did one question, strings we did one question, sorting we did one question. So these are the main topics: loops, patterns, maths, arrays, strings, sorting, stacks. Prepare on them and you have a good chance of clearing the Wipro Elite National Talent Hunt. Yeah.
Of the topics and concepts, which are the most important for me to prepare today?
Okay, so if you had to prioritize among these topics, I would suggest that you take up loops and patterns and maths and arrays, these three topics. The reason why you should take up these three topics is at least your first question can get cleared. So if you get the first question cleared, then there's a good chance you can get cleared that round. So that's what you could do. Okay, so one of the questions on chat is please solve this problem with C-lang or either in Java. Yeah, I mean, I did solve one question in Java and one in C, so it shouldn't be, if you follow the logic, then it shouldn't be really difficult for you to do it in C or Java. Sir, will there be the 2.x compiler or 3.x compiler in Python? 99% it should be a 3.x compiler, it should not be a 2.x compiler. In case there's a 2.x compiler, just remember the small differences like how the print is there. So, just remember that part. Another question is, which aptitude topics are covered in this exam? For the aptitude topics, you can just go to the Edyst platform and go over here. 1 second. The sample aptitude questions and the previous year's aptitude questions, just check them. Over 250 are there. If you check them, you'll get all of the previous year's questions. Let me go back to the chat. Okay, got it. So what we're told here is, so k is a position here, not a key value. Okay, all right. So I think we understood what the problem is. All right, so let me just solve this and see why we were not getting the inputs. Okay, so R1 is equal to 1 second. Let us see, and then I'll explain what the issue is. So this, and if we do right, I think I understood. 1 second. All right. Okay. Let us try and see. Okay. All right. 1 second. Okay. So what Ravi is basically telling us is, let's consider an example 5292648. We are not supposed to actually take 5 as the value that's supposed to be greater or lesser. Rather, 5 is the position. So this has to be entirely sorted in an ascending order. That's what we are supposed to do. Here we need to sort array like first to position in ascending and after that in descending. The reason is 2 is the position. So we have to take the first 2 positions in ascending and the remaining in descending. Okay, so if that is the case, let me extract from this original the first k elements and then after that the remaining k elements, right? So let me do that and run it. Okay, we are still getting some issue, and what is that issue? Let us see. Okay, so okay, 0 to k and array 2 is original, array 1 dot sort. 1 second. Let me print array 1 and print array 2. Okay, let me just see what's the issue coming here. 7937. Okay. All right. So oh, okay. Now I got. All right. So, all right. So first, all right. Understood. Okay, everyone. I finally understood the question. So the topic for everyone. Okay, please stay online while I try to do this question. Okay. All right. I think I understood this question now. What it's basically saying is, let us not even go here. We have this original. If we sort this original array, right, we are sorting this original array. Now the first k positions have to be in a sorted order, the remaining have to be in unsorted order. So let us take the first k positions into the original array. So that would be 0 to k. Then the second one should be in the sorted order, the remaining parts k, right, and till the end. And then we are going to array 1 dot sort and array 2 dot sort reverse is equal to true. That's what we're going to do. Then this remains same and this also remains same. Let us see whether this is actually correct. Okay, now submit the question. Okay, now we got the answer. All right, so first of all, apologies, I think I did not understand the question properly. The question was not that all of the numbers less than k. What rather it's saying is, take this entire array, sort it in ascending order, then take the first k elements, they have to be in sorted order. The last, the elements after the kth position have to be in a reversed order, which basically means if I sort this entire thing, all the elements that are before the position 4, not less than number 4, before the position 4 have to be in ascending order. All the elements less than all the elements after the position 4 have to be in descending order. So that's what this means over here. So that's what I did. What we need to do, the approach will change a bit over here. What we do is take the input original list, sort the original list, right, sort the original list, this is done. Then create new array 1 with all elements less than index k, all right. Then create new array 2 with all elements greater than index k, right. Then sort array 1 ascending, sort array 2 descending, print array 1 and array 2. So that's what we did over here. We first sorted this array, then the original one is then we took the first k elements of the original. This is how you take it in Python, by the way. If you just want to extract the first slice, that is 0 to the kth element, you take the array 1 over here and sort the array. Array 2, original k till end, which is basically I take all the elements greater than k index in array 2 and sort it in reverse, and then I store it in array 3 and then I print it, and that helped us pass all the test cases. Big thank you to our mentor. Thank you so much. Passed the test cases. Okay, so yeah, that's the beauty of the Edyst platform. You will get support when you need the support, and you'll get the help when you need it. All right, so I'll go back to the question answers. I think we've solved a lot of questions today. Thanks everybody for being on this marathon. Let's go back to some more questions over here. So one of the questions that we had is will you also make videos for Wipro Turbo Challenge later? Yes, there is a possibility for that. We are still, if a lot of people want that, please comment on this video that if you want us to make Wipro Turbo challenges, we'll be more than happy to make for Wipro Turbo. Can I recorrect my code after submitting? Yeah, you can keep submitting your code till it's correct. So yes, you can recorrect your code after submitting also. So you don't have to worry about that. Colony of 8 cells question, explain sir, it is previous AMCAT question. Yeah, we will, you just come online, try it out, reach out to us on the Edyst platform and I'll explain that to you how you can do that. Reach out to us on the chat and I can help you out with that question. Any other questions?
What is the expected pattern of the Wipro National Talent Hunt?
Okay, so what's the expected pattern of the Wipro Elite National Talent Hunt? I'll just pull up the pattern. This is the pattern you should all be very, very familiar with right now, which is the aptitude test will be the first one. Please don't forget any of your aptitude formulas. Then there's the written communication test, which is an essay writing. Somebody is asking, in the essay writing, can we use backspace? I don't think there's any problem in using a backspace in the essay writing. It's not that you have to write everything in one go. You can go back also. There's no problem in that. That's as far as I know, but please read the instructions first and then only attempt it. If they have something specific against backspace, then please read that. Online programming test, 2 programs for coding. So we did both easy and difficult questions today. Right. Any other questions, do you think?
Are there any negative marking?
Good question. Are there any negative marking? So the answer is, as per their instructions, nobody said anything about negative marking. Having said that, when you go for the actual test, please read up the instructions properly. They might just introduce negative marking. So we don't know if there's negative marking or not at that point. So please read the instructions carefully. Don't do guesswork if there's negative marking.
How much time should I allocate for each section of the test?
Okay, how much time should you allocate for each section? Well, each section has a deadline, so you can't really allocate more than that. So yeah, you have to give 60 minutes to aptitude, 20 minutes for the written test, 60 minutes for the online programming test. If you finish one of them first, the time does not get carried over to the next one. So don't think you're saving time by carrying over time. There's no such carryover time as such you'll get. So just give each one of them in the time that's given to you.
How to prepare for the aptitude and written communication?
Right, so how would I prepare for the aptitude and written? For the aptitude, log on to the Edyst platform, more than 250 questions already present about the aptitude questions. For the written communication, just read as many essays as possible. Make sure your grammar is really good, and when I say good, means you're not making mistakes, that's all. So to do that, just use a lot of small sentences, don't use too many big words. If you use big words, then you will get spelling mistakes. They're checking for not how good your English is, they're checking for if you're making mistakes or not. If you use small sentences and small words, there's less chance of mistakes. Nobody will give you more marks for using better English. They will cut marks for using bad English. So please make sure that your grammar and spelling is correct. Right, so I guess that's mainly it for the questions that we have. Will I get this code in C from Edyst? Okay, so you mean this sorted array one? Well, we don't have the exact solution for C over here, but if you come and try this question on C, that is the question that sorted K flowers one. If you try the question in C, if you're getting stuck, our mentors are online. We'll be more than happy to help you. So yeah, that's there, but the logic is really the same. I mean, here in C, sorry, in Python, the sort is built in. You just do your own bubble sort and you'll be able to do the question in C also. Can we check our own input where the mistake has taken place? That depends on the compiler. I'm not sure about the AMCAT or the Wipro compiler, if they'll show you the exact part where you made a mistake. They will show you which line the compilation error has come, which line the mistake, that kind of a thing they'll show you. They may not show you where your input is actually mismatching, but they will show you the compilation error parts and the part where there's a runtime error. So that you can expect, right? All right, so I think that's the end of the questions. Or do you have one more? Okay, yeah.
I'm very tensed and worried about tomorrow. What should I do?
Okay, so I think this is one of the good questions to end on. I'm very tense and worried about tomorrow. What should I do? The answer is don't be tense and worried. The main thing I want to say is there will be many more opportunities. You are most probably, everybody's writing is a 2020 pass out. Even after you graduate in 2020, there will still be many off-campus drives. So take tomorrow as a preparation. Even if you don't clear tomorrow, you will at least get the preparation to go for the next round. After this will be Mindtree, then Cognizant will come, then Virtusa. So many of these other companies will keep coming up. Just keep trying. Don't think tomorrow as a big day where it's all or nothing. Just go into the mindset that if you don't crack it, at least you learn a new question. Make sure that if, let's say, you don't do well tomorrow, come back home and try to solve the question again yourself. That's the best thing to do. So don't get too tensed about it. Go with a fresh mind, go with a fresh preparation. And if you don't clear it, there's a next test and there's a next test, and there will keep coming next test, and eventually you are going to clear one of them and get placed. If you don't believe us, just check the Edyst YouTube channel. We keep doing webinars for all of the rounds, and every week we are doing a webinar for another round because some or the other company is always hiring. So don't be tensed. There will be again and again other companies that will hire. This tomorrow is just one other opportunity, right? Okay, so that's it from our side. This was the mega marathon webinar for Wipro Elite National Talent Hunt. For the largest palindrome and array question, I will share that on the Edyst platform. So just come online and you'll get the solution for that. There's a simple issue in the C. I'll just fix that and I'll give that question to you. For any queries or more information about other courses that Edyst offers, we do offer job assured courses. So if you have any queries, reach out to us on this link over here, this WhatsApp and this email ID. We're more than happy to help. And just honestly, best of luck tomorrow. You've all prepared so well. So best of luck for tomorrow, day after, all those who have slots in the upcoming 2 days. So all the best for that. Do let us know when you clear the Elite National Talent Hunt. It always gives us good inputs, and it encourages us to help you when we hear the good news that so many of our students have got placed. And as always, if you found this helpful, please click the subscribe button so that you will get the notification of further webinars, and share it with your friends, all those who are preparing for Wipro for tomorrow. Thank you so much, everybody, and see you all next time for another set of webinars. Thank you so much for being online. See you next time. Thank you.